He's gorgeous. He's gorgeous. They've set me right up. He's amazing. Do you know what I mean? That sort of thing.
Oh, God.
So, yeah,
okay.
that's good. That's good. And then my ultimate guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
And you'll agree with me because it's on MTV. Right.
Wow.
So everything on MTV is a guilty pleasure now, especially for a musician, because we're supposed to have spurned MTV. But I actually love watching Catfish. Have you ever seen that?
No. What the hell is that?
You've got so much to learn, young Padawan. Catfish is this terrible, terrible program. All right. I think it was based on a documentary that this bloke made. So this bloke, he's now the presenter of this show, Catfish, right? But when he was younger, he got catfished, quote unquote, which means he went online, he met somebody online and fell in love with them. Right, and it turns out after X amount of years that this person wasn't the person he thought they were. You know, he thought it was a young woman. It was actually some old fat bloke or whatever.
Right,
so that's being catfished when you go, you know, you're basically done up like a kipper by someone on the other end of the internet.
Yeah.
So this bloke made a documentary out of it, got really popular. And he's now made his own program where people email in. They're like, oh, I've been talking to this person for like 8 years and their webcam's always been broken, you know.
Yeah.
Can you help me find out who it is? And it turns out it's their brother or something, or it's their mate, or, you know. But it's just hilarious. It's so formulaic, you know, that everything happens at the same place in every episode. But it's just great. You know, it's so tense when they go and meet in this park in the middle of Alabama and the person who it really is walking up to them from a mile away. And it's like, oh, my God, it's my cousin, blah, blah, blah. And it just kicks off. Yeah, it's great. It's so trashy. Yeah, and I should probably give my bloke card back in for admitting that. But, yeah, it's good.
It's bold that you've admitted it, and I respect that, so you can keep holding your bloke card for now.
I'm on a warning, though, right?
Yeah. Strict warning. Yeah, we'll talk about that off the air. Man, you know, I've been thinking, I'm racking my brain here, and I'm just too manly.
Rubbish. Rubbish.
Okay. I might have a couple of confessions. All right, go on.
Tell us why you hadn't got enough man points in the bank, Greg, and you had to miss the World Cup final to go for a walk with your girlfriend.
Now,
Spill the beans.
Now, this...
And we'll see whether you keep holding your bloke card. How about that?
Okay, so if anyone here listened to the last episode, you've probably got a rough idea of what I'm about to say, but I had to cash in a lot of man points to convince my partner to sit down and watch the third and final film in the greatest trilogy of all time. And that is The Lord of the Rings, of course.
Oh, Jesus.
Extended edition.
Yeah.
And now this is the longest of the three as well. This is 4.5 hours.
Oh, my word.
Of pure Middle-earth.
Oh, God.
Now, you know what? I'm not ashamed, okay? I honestly had the best time.
Were you painting Warhammer whilst you were watching? Is that?
How dare you? No, I wasn't.
You
but
also had
I should have been.
An old computer with Linux on it, playing Dungeons and Dragons. Is that what you were doing?
That sounds like the dream. Had my girlfriend not been there, all those things would have been happening. But again, you don't want to spoil the mood when you're watching a film with of such high caliber. You know,
Doesn't it really get in the way when you keep having to have a puff on your inhaler, though?
Yeah, when the bully came in, took all my lunch money, that really ruined it.
I'm surprised you can even sit down after that nuclear wedgie, that atomic wedgie that you received from the bully yesterday. Poindexter! Nerd alert!
Yeah, no, I really shouldn't have watched it. I was supposed to be doing Brad's science homework for next week's.
Oh, excellent. Excellent. Right, whiskey time. However,
yes.
I alluded earlier to the fact that I might have something slightly different.
Okay.
You know what I've been drinking a lot of this week?
What's that?
Mojitos.
Oh, okay.
Because it's got a big old mint bush in the garden and it's just getting out of control. So I thought, this is the perfect time to make the perfect mojito. Right. Oh, jeez. We need to change the name of this podcast. Oh, for God's sake.
That's so funny. There's a special kind of person that sees a overgrown mint bush and and just mojitos just pop into their head. That's good. I love
drinker, an alcoholic. That's
yeah,
what
absolutely.
It is. Yeah. So I thought, I've made loads of mojitos in my life, but I thought, okay, there's got to be like the perfect way, right? So I went online, did a bit of research, watched loads of videos, blah blah blah, and I think I've got it right. So it's quite labour intensive. So I did a little bit of it just before we started. So we're just going to have a short break while I go and finish the cocktail, because I didn't want the ice to melt while we're drinking this beer. So I'm just going to finish the cocktail, and I'll be back in 1 minute, and we'll start off again. Okay, we're back. We're back in the virtual pub. So here she is, the greatest mojito of all time.
Ooh.
And I'll explain how I made this.
Please do.
You get a ton of mint from the overgrown bush in the garden, and you chuck it all in a highball, right? More than you think you should use, right? Then you get 2 heaped spoonfuls of sugar. I used golden castor, but just regular sugar is fine. And then just chuck that in there. So literally just mint and sugar, and then muddle that for about 2 minutes. So you're mixing it up, you're like crushing the mint a little bit, crushing the sugar. And then you want half a lime, squeeze half a lime in there, and about the same amount of water or soda water. I use soda water, right? And then you keep muddling, keep mixing again for another 2 minutes.
Sure.
In sort of making this like beautiful, minty, limey, sugary mixture. Top the glass up with ice, as much as you can get in there. Double shot of white rum. Again, mix around. Sprig of mint on the top.
Ooh.
So don't top up with soda.
Okay.
I think that's one of the main problems that people usually do. They just fill it with soda and it's super weak.
Sure. So
people don't put enough mint in, don't put enough sugar in, and they top it up with soda. So this thing is potent, it's tasty, it's strong, it's sugary, it's sweet, it's minty, boozy. This is the one. Perfect for a summer's day.
Dude, it looks fantastic.
Oh, that's good. That's refreshing. I wish I was in Cuba. Wish I was in Hemingway's bar.
Yeah. Oh man. That looks good. One day I will be on a beach in Cuba, and I'll be drinking one of those wearing a Hawaiian shirt.
Exactly. Watching Harry Berry walk out of the ocean. Yeah.
That's the plan anyway. Mate, good job. Wow. Okay. So today I'm not changing it up in any way, shape or form. I'm staying true, but I've got a new bottle. I've got Tullibardine.
Oh, nice.
Today, which I've never had before. Well, I had a dram before the show, just taste it wasn't poisonous.
Presidential taster.
Yeah, and this is their Sauternes cask finish. So they finished it in a Sauternes cask. Is that French wine? Have I pronounced that correct?
Oh, Sauterne. Yes.
Sauterne, rather. Okay.
Yeah, got you.
Sauterne, there we go. Thank God, okay.
Awesome. Sauterne's like a sweet dessert wine, isn't it?
Yes, and you can tell. Like,
right.
When you smell this stuff, it's just like fruit. Oh my gosh, like really exotic fruit just punching you in the nose. It's so sweet on the nose. It's fantastic.
Great. So I'm guessing there's not a lot of smoke in there, not a lot of peat. We're on the sweet caramel side. Yeah.
I don't think there's any in here at all. So this is all just really lovely, sweet vanilla fruit. A little bit of like salt, actually, a bit of salty. Nice. when you taste it, not on the nose at all. But so this is actually as a Highland Scotch, but it's I think quite low down. So it's on the border of the lowlands, really. So I think most people tend to class it more of a lowland Highland hybrid.
Right.
And yeah, it's really, really nice. Hasn't got an age statement, unfortunately, which is a shame. But it's 43%. It looks really quite light, so it doesn't look like there's any colouring in it.
Nice. Well, we're coming across a lot of non-age statement stuff at the moment, aren't we? Just because of the popularity of Scotch, we didn't lay enough foundation back in the day.
That's it, man. And it's, I mean, you can't get more risky than investing in a whiskey distillery, I don't think, because you're putting all this money down in the stills and the storing of all this whiskey, and then you're not making profit for another 12 years. Yeah. It's just, you make a lot of profit, I think, if you've timed it well, but man, I wouldn't want to make those decisions.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, but we're hitting that time where they're struggling to put those age statements out, those 10 and 12 years out. in the quantity that they'd been needed. So you're right, they're doing a lot of non-age statements, but they are building a lot, because my partner's dad is involved with a lot of whiskey distillery sort of distilleries sort of improving their facilities or expanding them, and they are expanding pretty quick. So, which is great, but like, again, who knows how much whiskey is going to be being drunk in 10 years, 12 years, 15 years.
Exactly. You know? I mean, yeah, it might not be quite as popular. I mean,
exactly.
I'd put money on the fact that it will be popular, but it's still like, you know, what if port is the new Scotch in 20 years? Do you know what I mean? And we've got all this whiskey and it's not as popular.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Or just even something similar like rum or any. I don't know. It's something just overtakes it and it just becomes not quite as cool. Or I don't know, some famous person who drank Scotch, some secret comes out about them that I don't know. They get like Me Too'd or something, and then like no one wants to drink Scotch anymore. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so it's kind of scary for me anyway. I'm sure they've done the maths and they know a lot more than I do, and I'll do my best to keep the demand in high as high as it can be. Yeah,
listen, we're all going to have to chip in. You're going to have to drink as much as you possibly can to keep up the demand.
We're all in this together, guys. Come on.
Yeah.
Speaking of demand and supply chains, this leads me on to a book I've actually been reading recently.
Oh, nice. Great.
Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
You're going to love this.
Okay.
So this book is called 50 Ideas You Really Need to Know About Capitalism.
Nice.
You can still be, I think you can still be a healthy lefty and still understand and appreciate the use of capitalism. Almost said communism there, Jesus.
Yeah, exactly.
Capitalism, yeah. I mean, it blows my mind when there's people that are completely writing it off.
Yeah.
Looking at how far we've come as a society. And I don't know, I feel like there's definitely a bubbling vocal, I say minority, but it doesn't seem that much of a minority anymore. I don't know, I could be wrong, I hope I'm wrong, but of people coming against capitalism quite an aggressive way.
Yeah.
So, and I don't agree with that, so I felt like I needed to educate myself a little bit better and sort of get the tools I would need to sort of argue capitalism's good points.
Debate training.
Yeah, sure.
Nice.
So nice. I've just started that. I've done that, and I'm also starting in philosophy as well. I'm trying to get into a little bit of philosophy, but that's such a huge subject. Like,
Sweet.
I'm in over my head a little bit there, but yeah, we'll see how that goes.
That's getting deep, man. Yeah,
I'm trying. Yeah, I'm trying to get to the root.
Stuff. Yeah,
yeah.
I'm too busy watching Catfish for any of that.
Yeah. I'm sure some philosophers would watch that and have a field day trying to like pick apart all the stuff that's going on in that.
Sociologists would, Jesus.
Yeah.
Absolute nutters. That's great. No, that's good. That's great. You know, I think it would be handy if anyone engaged in any sort of debate just did a bit more reading, a bit more listening, a bit more reading, and a bit more thinking. And a little less talking.
Yeah,
so yeah,
totally.
If you're digging into those sort of books, that's great. I'd love to know how they turn out.
Yeah, so far it's good. And to be fair, the book I'm reading compares a lot of the capitalist ideas to like Marx ideas, basically Marxist ideas. So it does, you know, give you the sort of lays out the capitalist argument, it lays out the Marxist argument, and says make your mind up, basically, which I quite like.
Right. Yeah.
I'm only a couple of chapters in, but it's capitalism's winning. Let's put it that
way. So far, so good for capitalism.
Yeah. Go back to the debating thing. I think we've talked about this a lot, but I don't know whether we did it on the podcast yet. But it's so important, and I always go back to a story that you told me. You might be better off telling me actually about how you went to your brother's uni and went to a debating sort of social.
Exactly.
Yeah. What happened? What was that?
Yeah. So yeah, like you said, I went to a uni that I didn't attend. It was my brother's, and he's part of a debate team or debate society or whatever they call it. And I just got sort of thrown in at the deep end basically because I'd come to pick him up. I think it was on a Friday night or something, and I went up to see him. Going to go for a few beers after, but he just had half an hour left of this debating society. So he's like, "Oh yeah, come along." So I thought, yeah, great. and the topic that was being... in fact,